Hello there. The threat of a Brexiteer dream team taking over the leadership of the Tory party might concentrate ministers' minds. Talk is emerging of Boris Johnson, Michael Gove and Jacob Rees-Mogg possibly getting together to make a dream team of Boris as PM, Gove as his deputy and Rees-Mogg as Chancellor, so that they could thwart any moves to take the post-Brexit UK into any form of customs union with the EU. This got the Home Secretary Amber Rudd quickly out of the starting blocks and onto the BBC Marr Show, where she tried to play down any Tory splits over Brexit. Working hard to quell any talk of rebellion in the ranks, she said, "I have a surprise for the Brexiteers, which is the committee that meets in order to help make these decisions is more united than they think. We meet in the committee. We meet privately for discussions. I think that we will arrive at something which suits us all. There will be choices to be made within that, but we all want the same thing, which is to arrive at a deal which works for the UK." For me, her use of the word Brexiteers when referring to others tells me just about all I need to know. After all, isn't the whole government meant to be Brexiteer now? But this really just shows where the battle lines truly lay. The contest is being touted as hard Brexit against soft Brexit. But as soft Brexit always means obeying the 4 pillars of EU membership, paying into the Brussels coffers and staying under ECJ jurisdiction, then soft Brexit is, and always has been, and always will be, staying in the EU. All you have to do is use the phrase EU exit instead of hard Brexit, and the word remain instead of soft Brexit. That is where we really are. There is no halfway house. There is no compromise. We are either in or we are out. And those touting for soft Brexit are actually working to keep the UK inside the EU. But although the government will have to work harder to keep its Brexiteers in line, that will not please its Remain wing. At the end of the day, Theresa May is going to have to make a choice and upset one side or the other. The longer she delays this, the worse it will get. So, the sooner we ditch Remainers from the top of government, the better, as we then all completely understand where we were. And more's the point, so would all those on the EU side. Now, I did say yesterday that the subject of the leaked Brexit report and civil service impartiality would rumble on. Firstly, the Tory Brexiteer MEP Daniel Hannan has supported Jacob Rees-Mogg's claims that the civil service is biased against Brexit, but said that it is more likely a subconscious thing. Speaking to Channel 4 News, Mr Hannan said, "If you're determined to get a particular outcome, then maybe it will be a subconscious thing. Maybe it won't be a deliberate thing, but all human beings tend to be a little bit results-driven. If you're emotionally committed to keeping us in the close as possible union, then that's going to be something that affects your work." But Lord Andrew Turnbull, who was the head of the civil service under Tony Blair, says that Brexiteers are indulging in preemptive scapegoating of Whitehall officials because they feared they were losing the argument. And former Cabinet Secretary Robin Butler said the claims by the likes of Jacob Rees-Mogg were a deliberate Brexiteer process of intimidation, and likened it to the rise of Nazism after the First World War. And in The Guardian we have, Turnbull told The Observer that the attacks on Whitehall were reminiscent of the stab-in-the-back myth which emerged in Germany after the First World War and was later taken up by the Nazis. So, questioning civil service impartiality is a Brexiteer thing only seen in the post-EU referendum era, is it? Now I'll take you back to a BBC article from July 1999, when one politician told the British Venture Capitalists Association of the scars on my back from 2 years of trying to reform the public sector. And this politician went on to say, "People in the public sector are more rooted in the concept that if it's always done this way, it must always be done this way, than any group of people I've come across." And that politician's name was, of course, Tony Blair. And in my book, inertia-led attempts to change elected government policy is just as bad as any political bias, either conscious or unconscious. And it didn't stop there. The BBC reported in February 2004 on Tony Blair and his vision of how the civil service should be, where he said, "The world has changed and the civil service must change with it," giving a clear indication that he was not happy with it for various reasons. And a Telegraph article from January 2007 talks about a former Cabinet Secretary, Lord Wilson of Dinton, who railed against Tony Blair for the sustained use of special advisers and said that when Gordon Brown takes over at number 10, he will have to make a sustained effort to restore the trust in the impartiality of the civil service. And from The Independent in February 2011, David Cameron is preparing to give his own version of Tony Blair's famous "Scars on my back" speech, amid fears within the government that it is failing to effectively sell its reforms to the public. Downing Street is concerned that some of its key ideas, such as the Big Society and NHS reorganisation, are becoming confused in the minds of voters with public sector cuts. Mr Cameron wants to separate the two and argues that vested interests and bureaucracies are trying to thwart reform by blaming the government for cuts in services. And of course, the Office for Budget Responsibility was set up by George Osborne in 2009 to depoliticise UK economic and fiscal forecasting. So now try and tell me that questioning civil service impartiality as well as inertia is a brand new concept that is limited to Brexiteers only. Funny how this hasn't been mentioned elsewhere, isn't it? What do you think? Please leave a comment below. Thank you. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching.